อัสสลามุอะลัยกุมวะเราะห์มะตุลลอฮ์วะบะเราะกาตุฮ์สวัสดีครับต้อนรับท่านผู้ชมทุกท่านเข้าสู่รายการฉุกคิดทอล์กนะครับวันนี้พบกันวันพฤหัสที่16กุมภาพันธ์2566 Welcome everybody to the ฉุกคิดทอล์ก in English version today. This is the first English version program that we will broadcasting to the page of สอนศาสนาศาสนุปถัมภ์ and Peace Station. So we're going to discuss about the opportunity, the education, and the future under the topic of chance to change. So we are honored by Syed Adnan Akhtar. He is the Executive Director, Directorate of International Affairs from Incheon University. He will be the main person to discuss with us and sharing the knowledge and experience about the opportunity, education, and the future of the world. And beside myself as the moderator, we have Kunuro Sali as the moderator as well. So please welcome both of them in the program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to our discourse program today, Brother Adnan. So where are you now, Brother Adnan?
So Mr. Feroz, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. Currently, I am in New Delhi, so I speak from New Delhi.
Okay. Oh, you speak from New Delhi. You see, world can connect us to each other, can connect us to together. You see, from the other page to in one like a program. You are sitting in Delhi, and Brother Adnan as a moderator, he's in Bangkok, and I am also in India, but I am in Chennai. So we are from three different places, but we can have an online discourse like this today. Yes. So let us talk about the opportunity, education, and the futures. I think that Kunlung Road, as a moderator, he has also like some section which is regarding to the education, especially the education after the COVID disease, and people call that now we are in the period called the new normal. So we are now living in the new normal society, which is changing of everything. So once the world changed, I think it's affected or impacted to the education as well as the other aspects as well. So Kunuro, in the beginning of this discourse, what is the question that you would like to share or to ask to Brother Adnan regarding the Indian education and the New World Order, please?
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. What's the first question? Okay, before we talk to the future, I think that we have to talk with present now. Tomorrow, there's nobody know tomorrow, except Allah. What is the reality of the education system in India? If you can share me, Mr. Adnan.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for the question. It's indeed a very interesting question and also a very overwhelming question and a very loaded question. To answer this question for a country representing 1.3 billion people is a tremendous task. So the education system in India, I want to first talk about the school education, and then I can go to the higher education, and then I can more talk about the research, right? And then I want to talk about more of the realities and the challenges that we face in higher education. So talking about the school education, India, I would suggest is a very, very good destination for school studies. We, of course, have 12 levels of school studies, as we have in the UK and other places around the world, like you call it A levels and the O levels. So we have brilliant schools. It will be difficult to put a number on the number of schools at this point, but I would imagine there are more than 10,000 schools across India. Which is not surprising given the population. We have a huge population of 1.3 billion people. So that's about the school system. Now coming to the higher education, which we predominantly represent right now. The higher education is basically consisting of courses which lead you either by skill, which we often call as diploma in India, or if you go towards the European side, they call it Hawk School. So we have a higher education on the basis of research or on the basis of diploma. So at the present moment, according to the data of 2021, there are over 1,000 universities in India. To be precise, in 2021, there were 1,113 universities. Now, the universities and the higher education in India is regulated by the body called the University Grants Commission, which comes under the Ministry of Higher Education. So that is the kind of an umbrella body which takes care of the quality of education system in India. They give accreditation, they give approvals, and there are many other bodies such as the AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education. There are other regulatory bodies which take care of courses like nursing, pharmacy, and many other courses of this sort. So there are a large number of universities in India. There are some government universities which are more renowned as the IITs, the Indian Institute of Technology, which are present one in every state. Then of course we have private universities in India. So in India, unlike the West, unlike Europe, the universities could be private, which is not the case in Europe. So in Europe, you almost always have public universities. Of course, in the US, you do have private universities, and the very good ones that you know of are actually private universities. So this is about the higher education. Now, coming to the research part, I think India is a immense source of talent. And the one reason that it is an immense source of talent, I would argue, is because it has a very young population. So if I'm not wrong, more than 40% are in the age group of are under 40 years old. So so you have a lot of talent. Now the challenge is to nurture it. Of course, with a big country and with a big population comes a lot of responsibility as well. So there's a lot of young talent available in the country. So, and there are premier institutions, and as you may already know, India is also, I would argue, the second IT hub of the world after Silicon Valley. And Bangalore, which Mr. Feroz is very close by at this moment, is called the Silicon Valley of India. So there are lots of IT companies, and there's lots of talent there. Now, coming to research, I would argue that a bit of a challenge in the research in higher education is the sourcing of faculty, right? So we often find that, we hire, we put out applications, we get 1,000 applications, out of which we can just, zero down on 5 or 10 people, So that is a bit of challenge, but we are, we have, alhamdulillah, always fought that challenge, and we have always found good people for that. So I think that is pretty much the short answer for the overwhelming question you just put.
I think what Brother Adnan has given to us about the the system or the education system in India. He mentioned about the school system as well as the university system. And also he touched base on the research, which is also one of the important part in academic area. So as far as the education is concerned, we could not leave the topic of what we are now, that after the world has, impacted and experiencing the big disease that had never happened in the past, which is called COVID, the corona. So things change a lot, and it's drastically changed. It's not changed gradually as we've been experiencing in the past. And definitely, the education also has been impacted. I mean, as far as it's concerned, and as we know that last year, most of the education institute in the world, school, university, and college, has been practicing, an online education. And I know that this is, more or less is become like a good experience for the school management and university management as well, that they have to prepare things for the futures, because we don't know that the problem like this, the crisis like it may happen again in the future, as Kunungo mentioned earlier, that we don't know what is will be happening in the future. Allah knows the best. So far, what is your concern, and how we as an educationist or um, school management, university management will prepare ourselves for the change of the world, especially how can we provide the opportunity or the chance for the student for the younger age, for them to have a good chance or a good change in the future. This I would like to listen from you. You are like a new generation. You said that in 40% of the generation in India now is below 40, right? So I believe that you are below 40. So I would like to have a good sharing from you in this particular, please, Brother Adnan.
Definitely. I think, Brother Feroz, that is a very interesting question about how the new paradigm, what is the new paradigm of study. So, of course, we were severely hit by COVID, right? We had a lockdown, which was like pretty much across all the countries. So we did have to take drastic steps so that our students do not suffer from the change, right? So I think a very good step that we did take was online learning, which is of course not so uncommon, and which of course exactly what we are doing right now at this moment. We are in different countries and we are still able to connect and see each other. So that is the beauty of the technology. So online learning is a very beautiful thing. You can have at the touch of a button, you have online courses in front of you. You can of course uh, gather all the knowledge uh, from different fields, be it law, education. You can take online courses, Coursera, YouTube, whatever. So when we were hit by COVID, we took a step which was called the ILI. So because
Okay.
I represent the Integral University, so we had a cell called as ILI, which is known as Integral Learning Initiative. So the students can
Okay.
really take classes online delivered by the professors of our university. So it was not
It
just
is a
some
live
online.
program. It is a live. It is a live program.
It had a live option as well, and it was recorded as
Okay.
well, right?
Okay.
So typically the good thing with recording is that you can really plan your
Mm,
lessons properly, and then you can really
okay.
deliver and delete the part which you don't want. So of course we delivered lectures online during that time, which was called as ILI, Integral Learning Initiative. So
Okay.
so that's the good part, that sitting at home you can deliver lectures, sitting at home you can listen to your
Mm,
professors, you can
Mm,
connect to them on chat, you have forums where you
mm,
can discuss amongst peers. So I think one very important thing in being in a university is peer learning. So I don't think that learning from
okay.
the professors and and the books are the most important thing. I don't think so. The most
Mm,
important thing is peer learning. You get a
yeah.
problem, you solve it in a certain way, and suddenly you see the person next to your table has solved in a completely different way, right? So this
Mm,
peer learning is very important, and which is the downside of online learning. So the peer learning is a bit of a problem in online learning, The second problem is the classroom atmosphere. You don't really get to, interact with your peers. That is a bit of a problem.
Mm.
And then the third problem is laboratories. So, for example, the lab
Oh,
intensive courses, when you really have to do experiments, get your hands dirty with experiments, that is a bit of a problem in online learning. So, these are the three challenges which predominantly exist in online learning. But a
mm.
lot of steps have been taken in this, although these technologies haven't matured yet. So, for example, if you see, there are virtual labs developed by universities, right? So you can really
Okay,
do physics experiments on virtual labs. So it will be as if that you're actually working in a lab. But of course, nothing
okay,
can replicate the actual working on in a lab. So that is a bit of a challenge. So this is the paradigm that I see was taken up during COVID, and these were the challenges that we faced. And I think over the course of next few years, we could potentially move to hybrid mode of learning where we can have physical classes as well and
mm.
online classes as well. But if the question is that can physical classes be replaced by online learning, then my answer is no for the next 10 years.
Okay. So I believe that as far as education is concerned, and it seems like an online learning system is not the answer for the new generation, and it's not the answer for our world today. But it is one of the alternative means to keep continuously learning, procedures that we can keep learning as it is. But as it is doesn't mean that it is as it is physically or on site. But at least it's replacing something that we cannot make it happen. So far, one of the audience, Brother Muhammad Fahim, he's giving a comment that, in my opinion, online study is not effective. One, as far as real learning outcome is concerned. Yeah, definitely. And I'm really surprised that Brother Nadeem mentioned about there is the lab, that you said that there is a problem with the lab because in online you cannot go for the lab, and because lab there is some limitation. But since see there is a high technology and improvement and the development of the new technology, they use the real, what they call the
The virtual
reality,
reality, yeah. Yeah.
virtual reality. So do you believe that the virtual reality can replace the physical classroom with a good equipment? I believe that Kunru is one of the I believe, he's in the field of the technology as well, because he is the businessman selling and involving in the telecom equipment and devices. So I believe that he's also have to follow, the technology. He could not be left behind, or he could not be, out of date of the technologies. So, Kunungo, do you think that the virtual reality can replace the physical labs at the school or at the university?
Okay, cannot change 100%. But I think that the technology is okay. Become this okay, the better and better. Okay, and the human being can be learned. Okay, how to adjust. Okay, and align to how to live together. Okay, how to learn. Okay, I think this is okay. Maybe we have to take a time of 2 or 3 years. Okay, but I'm I think that all the problems in the world is pretty much the same. Okay, and we try to solve the same together. We share together about the solutions. And one thing that I would like to ask Mr. Adnan about the India, but I'm very interesting. What are some of the biggest problems with the current public education in India now? Can you share with me?
Okay. So you mean the current problem with the higher education in the universities in
Yes,
India?
yeah.
Okay. So I okay. So I would say right now I don't see there is any problem per se in India with the higher education, except there is one interesting problem. When you ask this question, I thought about it loudly, and one interesting challenge in India is that teaching is not a very considered very valuable profession, right? So people typically take teaching as their last resort. When they can't get into a big multinational company, then they resort to teaching. Except, of course, I don't want to generalize, but there are a large chunk of people who do see it that way. Of course, there are some very passionate researchers, and we at Integrated University are very fortunate to have them. But typically, the outlook in India is that teaching is not a very valuable profession and very not highly desired. So this is one challenge because of which we face problems when we have to hire good researchers and teachers. So that is typically a problem. But from the point of view of students, there is typically no problem because we have a very good entrepreneurial ecosystem. So our students go on to become a very good businessmen. They start off their own companies. We have very good research facilities. So currently we pledged about $1 million to Central Central Instrumentation Facility in the university. So from the perspective of students, there are no problem. But of course, as I said, the teaching as a profession is not highly desired and is typically taken as a second option and the third option.
Okay, so I believe that he has already answered your question, Kulumrod. And yes, Brother Adnan, I would like to have some more information about the school. As far as the education as or the English medium education is concerned, we in Thailand, we try to have our student to have a good skill of languages such as like English and Arabic, as well as to have a good academic so that they can have a good opportunity in the future. As our topic today is chance to change, if we have a chance for the student, definitely student will have a chance to change their life. And once they have the
Absolutely.
the chance in the education, they would have chance for a good and better life in the futures. For the example, in the career, the family, and everything. So we are struggling with the problem of the teaching in the school as well as the development of the language, English language and Arabic language, because in Thai local school we teach language by the local language. So I believe that this is one of the constraint and obstacle that we cannot make it successful, and the student spend a lot of time, maybe 10 years, 12 years, but end up with zero language skill. So I believe that in India, so you've been experiencing the same system and on the same problem in the past. But nowadays, there's a lot of English medium. I'm not saying about international school, but talking about the English medium. Can you just inform us or sharing with us that how India changed this education system in the school, whereas student
Mhm.
can, after few years, they can speak English, they can speak good English. I don't think that it is the impact of the colonized, under the British colonized something, but I believe that the education system provide them a good opportunity in terms of the languages. Can you share this for me, please?
Absolutely. So Brother Feroz, I would like to start here. So one thing that you typically see in countries, so I want to tell you how friendly India is from the point of view of language, right? So typically, if you, because I was in Thailand in the in the past few days, and I was also in Germany and Netherlands and all those countries. And typically, people use their mobile phones in their native language. I'm pretty sure Brother Feroz and Brother Rungroj have their phones in Thai as well right now. In India, almost everybody has their phones in English. So let me start from here, right? The reason is people find English very friendly and very easy to understand, right? So if you want me to talk about the source of where it came from, so I think a bit of influence is definitely from the British colonization in the past. So that definitely did that, right? So that was one of the reasons. So English is very, very friendly, and Indians are very, very friendly with English. So if you come to the city Lucknow, so you will find almost all signboards, every advertisement in English, right? So talking about the university, talking about the Integra University and the Integra International School, we have English medium as the language instruction throughout all the courses, whether it be bachelor's, whether it be diploma, whether it be master's or doctoral studies. So we are a university about 25 years old. We are based in Lucknow, which is known as the city of etiquettes. And this is the capital of the largest state of India called Uttar Pradesh. So Lucknow has a population of about 4 million. And so this Integral University is located in Lucknow. It's about 25 years old university. It has a lush green campus of around 200 acres. And we offer courses in almost all fields, ranging from architecture, agriculture, engineering, education, law, pharmacy, nursing, medical sciences, paramedical sciences, almost everything. We also have our own medical college, so in which we have a 850 bedded hospital, multi-speciality tertiary care hospital inside the university, with all the state-of-the-art machineries and super specialty doctors available on the campus. And we of course have we like take care of our students very well. So if I want to put things in perspective, so if there's a student in Integral University and he wants to consult a doctor, then he needs to pay less than $1, right? So he needs to pay I would say 5 baht or something, right? If I put this in the perspective of India, I think less than 5 baht, 3 baht. That's what he pays to see a doctor if he's a student. So we are doing a huge community service, right? And we were at the forefront of COVID combat when the COVID was at its peak, and the government recognized as a COVID care hospital, and the governor wrote us a letter in appreciating our efforts to fight COVID. So we are a research-based university. We have about 12,000 students. And because this is an international forum, I also want to talk about the diversity of the university. So we have students from around 35 plus countries. And the international office takes special care of these students, ranging from their arrival to their accommodation to the visa and everything. So this is the international outlook of the university. So like I said before, that peer learning in a university is very, very important. So you want to have the students interact with every nationality on the campus. So this is our motto and the vision.
Yeah, I believe what brother Adnan has shared is very important, and also that's the reason why India and also the people in India, they're easy, to know and to learn English and even to speak English. In some, some places, some cities in India, you can find even, the rickshaw driver can speak English. Yeah, that's the impact of, I don't know. I'm
Very
not
true.
sure whether because of the education or maybe because of the British colonization or whatever. Far as the education is concerned, there is also a question that if a school like in Trigan or maybe the university, in Trigan University in Lucknow, you said that the diversity of the people, diversity of the society, multicultural society is very important nowadays. Not only to create a good atmosphere, but also to have a good understanding between people of different faiths and religions as well. As far as in Thailand, that we also have the same problem that we try to have Muslim, non-Muslim, Buddhists, and other religions who live in the same society to understand each other. So we try to promote the diversity, the multicultural. But as far as education is concerned, let's say if we have 20 or 25 Thai students in your university or your school, do you believe that you can manage them not to speak Thai because they are also, very nationalism. They like to speak Thai to each other, and they like to be in group. They don't like to be, separate. And definitely they will love to speak their own languages, their own languages. So, and do you believe that the institute can manage them to speak other languages when they are put together in the same area?
So, Brother Feroz, what you pointed out is a very realistic problem, and that is a problem that we have also tried to solve in the past many years that we have international students. So, typically, we do have programs that encourage people to study in English and also speak English, and the reason are as follows. Of course, all the language of instruction is English in the university, so of course you cannot evade that, right? So you have to know English and speak English to the professor. So that is talking about the time that they are in the classroom. Now, outside the classroom, we take some steps to ensure that English speaking does happen. So first, for students who are not so strong in English, we have 3 months to 6 months intensive English full-time program in the campus to prepare them in English, right? So this is the program that we offer to international students when they want to come to Lucknow and Integra University to study. And then we have professional teachers which teach you intensive English, right? And then after that, we have some buddy programs, right? So for example, in the hostel accommodation, we try not to put all the people from one nationality together. We discourage that. We like to put different nationalities. For example, it's a 3 sharing room or a 2 sharing room, or it's a single room. If it's a single room, then of course you are alone. But if it's a sharing room, we put different nationalities in one room, right? And then we have so many multicultural programs. For example, in March, we'll be having a cultural fest called Fiesta, in which all the students participate. And to enjoy the show, I mean, it's really, really, people look forward to that program, you know. And to enjoy that and to participate, you need to know English. And to, you know, roam around the city, you need to know English. So, I mean, if you are in Lucknow, then you can definitely survive outside the city, but you cannot survive in the university without English. So you need to know English.
Okay, so I think this is a sufficient reason that why uh, Thai student who already in Lucknow in university, they need to study hard and they need to know how to acquire the knowledge of the language. So not just only for the living, but also for the successful in the education, because this is one of the opportunity, the chance that they have already offered by many people, maybe by, we can say, by the parents, has already offered the opportunity on the chance for them, and also the university and many parties has been given this, but more or less we found that many students, they're not take it seriously, and
Mhm.
they, at the end of the day, they cannot successfully complete what they have been given, like the education and all things like that, and they end up with unsuccessful and even not cannot finish the education
True.
in particular level. So far as the topic is concerned, I believe that Kun Rungrod has some few questions to ask you and also to share to the audience at this level. Please, Kun
Well,
Rungrod.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I would like to ask Mr. Fairo because I think it's depending on the school, private school. Okay, I have heard that the private school is really that much better than public school because okay, Ms. Fairoz, can you share me something because you have your daughter is in the private school, and do you think that what are the reasons why private school is better than public school?
I think if we say in general, if we compare in general that between the private and the public school, I believe that in general we can say that public school is better than the private. But if we go particularly in some area, in specific school, like private and public in a remote area, or not in the the big city like in Bangkok. If we're
Mm,
talking about the public school, let's say Triam Udom, Thanakan,
mm,
Triam Udom
mm,
whatever the
mm,
the popular school, the public school,
mm,
we can't
mm,
compare the private school with this type of the school, because a number of the students studying in the school, they not even need any teachers,
mm,
because they're ready to study themselves. They can
mm,
do self studies. They need only
mm,
coach. The teachers is not representing as a teacher, they're representing as a coach or a mentor or something like that. But when we talk about the private school in the other section, like the private school in outside Bangkok, in the remote area, in the small town, well, definitely, I believe that opportunity for the private school for their development and improvement and for the advancement of education, to have a better education for the student is much more better than the public school. Because if you are from a well and rich family, or you have a good connection with millionaire or people like who want to support the education for poor students, they might invest in the school, and you can have a good facility and infrastructure of the school, and you could have a good curriculum of the school. Even you can even hire good teachers for the school in that particular area as well. Whereas the school in the remote area, if the number is not big enough, it's like, because there are three sides of the school in Thailand. There are small, medium, and big side. So if the small size of the school in the remote area, you have heard that there is a lot of rumor, or maybe the real news, that the small school has been closed down because it's not, as far as business is concerned, it's not good for business. It's not good for investment.
But
It's a lot
why
of
do you,
expenditures, and the ROI is not good. Something like that.
okay? But why do the mostly of the rich people send their children to the private school? Why?
Well, actually, private school, there are also many type of the
Not in
private
India,
school.
okay.
Yeah, I think the same in Bangkok and the same in everywhere in the world. Private school also have a private school as a local school, and a private school as an international school. So definitely those who have opportunity to, and who can afford to pay for the high fees for the good school, like international school, definitely they will choose, because they know that the futures of their children is within that school, and the rest of everything is depend on the talents of their student. If their student is talent enough to acquire knowledge that's given, or provide by the teacher at this particular school, definitely the children will be successful for sure. And I believe that this same thing might happen to everywhere in the world. But
Can we say the
I
students
believe that
end up with more successful careers than those who attend the public schools?
well,
Can we say that?
I think we can say this if we have academic research to support this. But if we can say by our feeling, that we think, we feel of what we observe, experience, it may not 100% correct. And I think that the same criteria has been also applied in many countries. I believe that Brother Adnan mentioned in the beginning that in America the system may be different, because there are a lot of public school, and public school in America is maybe even better than public school in other countries, and because of the focusing and the attention, and because of government, or maybe there is also the impact of the politics as well, because more or less politics also impact or affected to the educational system in each and every country as well. Because if there is a, let's say, I've been experiencing in the China system, the education in China also is very good, because the what you call the politics in China is different from democracy, because they have their own politics. Politics also is controlled. The power is only centralized in the central government only. So when they order, or when they give the ordinate to the school or to the state, everyone has to follow. But there will be a lot of question in the in the country like us, or why we have to do this, and there will be a negotiation and all things. It's happened all the time. So at the end of this program, uh, Brother Adnan, I want you to share a bit about the international school that you have just been established at, I think, few years ago. You have a school for many years, but you have just converted into the international school.
Absolutely.
So can you just tell us more about the international school that you have in Lucknow, please?
Definitely. So we have been running a school for the past 20 years under the name of Techno Academic School, but it's only now that we have shifted to international school. And the reason is again the same, that peer learning is very important even for school students. So we have a international school, which is very much close to the university. So it's basically just one ecosystem. And then we have a school spread over 6 acres, just school. We have boarding and lodging as well in that school. So day boarding is also available, and then we have hostels as well inside the school. So we have classes from grade 1 to 12, and then we pay special attention to experiential learning. So you always learn on blackboards and slides, but experiential learning is very important. And what I mean from that is, for example, in biology in class 6, let's say you have to study the skeletal system, right? So you can always, see in the books and all, but when you see it for real, you know, then it's easier to recall and understand what it means. So experiential learning is very important, which we focus on. So we are currently also developing labs inside the school, specifically robotics lab, but other labs as well. I mean, what I'm talking about is something besides the curriculum, not just what the curriculum demands. So we want to take the next step and do stuff and establish labs, which the curriculum doesn't demand as a minimum standard, but still we want to have it because we want the students to learn. So the students can come there. It's purely in English, and the students can, go to labs, explore, and then, needless to say, we of course have hostel facilities where there's a warden available all the time for young students, and there's food and meal facilities inside the campus. So what you can do is, the students can stay, and they will be well taken care of, and they'll be, given meals which will be inside the campus. So that is what the international school is about. So currently we have about 700, 800 students, and we just started.
MashaAllah, you have a big number of the student in
Mashallah, yes,
6 acre
alhamdulillah.
area. 5 acre, I believe it's equal to about 15 right in Thailand. Anyway, it's quite a big school as well, and you have the facility of the boarding as well, right? So, or
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
okay. So beside the day scholar school, you have also the boarding. Anyway, I think Kunuru, we should touch a bit about the disciplinary of the student, because in this era we found that if we have a high education, high academic, we can go even outside the world. Now we are looking to have a new place for future living in Mars or in many others. I don't know what will be, but I can say that people can go outside the world. They have a high technology. But to be frankly speaking, academic or good education alone or good technology alone, do you think that it can lead the human being to the high level of this disciplinary? We need also good atmosphere that student will experience about how to behave, how to behave themselves, how to have a good disciplinary. Because without this thing, even though they have very good, academic education, I don't think that they will have the society in the future. So I would like Brother Danan to share with us that the school, your school, Indian school, concerned about this or not?
So if I understand the question correctly, so your question says that if technology can really help people, you know, to be better in everything that they do. So I think people have argued for a lot of time, and I hear this question a lot of times, that can robots and technologies really replace us? The AI is coming, the chat GPT is coming and all that stuff. And my answer is simple, that these technologies can supplement your life, right, and can support you, but they can never replace you. So the learning has to be yours. Technology can only aid you in learning. So that the thinking still have to be yours. You still have to think, but the technology can definitely aid you in the learning and can therefore shorten the process of learning through experiential learning, right? Because, they say seeing is believing. You read something in the book, but then once you see it working, you actually believe it. And once you believe it, you remember it for your life, right? So that is very important. So experiential learning is very important. And coming to the technology part, yes, technology is important in the sense that it can aid you in learning, but it can never replace the process of thinking. You still have to think for yourself. And that's where the beauty of human brain comes. I mean, there has been a research, if we were to develop a robot or a computer system which was as smart as the human brain, you would require 1 megawatt of power. But the beauty, alhamdulillah, is that we have this beautiful brain with which we can drive cars, cook stuff, study, do everything. And we don't use 1 megawatt of power.
Alhamdulillah, I think that we have shared and we have a lot of information and knowledge by in over this course today. And I think that we are now spent almost 50 minutes in our program today. And I believe that we could, ask for the permission from the audience to finish the program now. And before ending the program, I would like Kunuro to give us a summarize of the discussion today, maybe in Thai language, so that few people will understand, the audience, the Thai audience, will understand what we've been the main topic of our discussion today, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Feroz. Okay, okay. Surely Allah does not change. Allah said does not change the condition of the people unless they change themselves. In Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma biqawmin. Allah จะไม่เปลี่ยนชนชั้นหนึ่งชาติใดจนกว่าเขาจะเปลี่ยนการศึกษาก็เช่นกันครับสิ่งที่เราต้องเปลี่ยนตอนแรกคือต้องเปลี่ยน mindset เปลี่ยนวิธีคิดเราก่อนนะครับนั่นแหละครับเปิดใจความรู้เข้ามานะครับแค่นี้แล้วที่ผมอยากจะสรุปครับ
ครับก็ฝากท่านผู้ชมนะครับว่าเราคุยกันวันนี้ขออนุญาตไม่แปลแต่ฝากให้สำหรับต่างชาติที่เข้าใจภาษาอังกฤษนะครับได้ฟังแล้วก็ได้มีโอกาสเข้ามาร่วมแลกเปลี่ยนกับเราแล้วก็รายการเรายังเหมือนเดิมอย่างที่เราบอกไว้เมื่อ 2-3 อาทิตย์ที่แล้วว่าเราจะมีสัก1ครั้งต่อ1เดือนที่จะใช้ภาษาอังกฤษในการมาจัดทำรายการนะครับเอาละครับท่านผู้ชมครับวันนี้ขอบคุณท่านผู้ชมทุกท่านให้เกียรติติดตามรับชมรายการและพบกันใหม่ในวันพฤหัสหน้า Thank you everyone for your support today and thank you for all the comments brother Nadeem, brother Fahim, you have been given on pretty much comments today. Is there any plan for one Integrated University overseas campus in Thailand? I think that if you have chance, brother Adnan, you may reply back to the comment because we're going to close the program now. Thank you, Adnan, brother Adnan, for your participating today, and I hope that you'll be traveling back to Lucknow safely. And I myself,
Inshallah.
After finishing, I will be preparing myself to go to the airport because I have a flight at 1:30 early morning today back to Bangkok. Inshallah, may you please dua for me as well. Inshallah.
Fi amanillah.
Okay, fi amanillah. Everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. สวัสดีครับ
การศึกษาดีมีมูลค่าเท่าไหร่การเรียนยุค New Normal การศึกษาที่ดีต้องไม่ตายตัวการเรียนเพียงเพื่อให้สอบผ่านจริงหรือความแน่นอนคือความไม่แน่นอนโลกแห่งการเรียนรู้ไม่มีวันหยุดนิ่งโรงเรียนสอนศาสนาศาสนูปถัมภ์กรุงเทพมหานครศูนย์กลางแห่งการเรียนรู้สำหรับนักเรียนเปิดรับสมัครนักเรียนใหม่พร้อมกันทุกระดับประถมศึกษาตอนปลายรับนักเรียนเข้าเรียนชั้นป .4 ป .5 ป .6 ระดับมัธยมศึกษาตอนต้นรับนักเรียนเข้าเรียนชั้นม .1 ระดับมัธยมศึกษาตอนปลายรับนักเรียนเข้าเรียนชั้นม .4 ระดับสนวีภาคภาษาอาหรับเรียนจบได้วุฒิ2 ใบไม่ต้องเรียนกศนและหลักสูตรเตรียมมหาวิทยาลัย2 ปีพร้อมทุนการศึกษาต่อต่างประเทศครบครันรับสมัครตั้งแต่วันที่15 ตุลาคมเป็นต้นไปจัดการเรียนการสอนแบบ3 ตาตะรบียะห์การอบรมด้านต่างๆผ่านระบบโรงเรียนและระบบหอพักตะลีนการให้ความรู้ทั้งทฤษฎีและปฏิบัติตำกีนการให้ผู้เรียนนำองค์ความรู้และประสบการณ์ที่ได้รับไปใช้ให้เกิดศักยภาพสูงสุดเรียนทักษะชีวิตพัฒนาความพร้อมสำหรับการดำเนินชีวิตที่ดีในสังคมโรงเรียนสอนศาสนาศาสนูปถัมภ์พร้อมแล้วที่จะเป็นศูนย์กลางแห่งการเรียนรู้ยุคใหม่ด้วยโปรแกรมบริหารสถานศึกษาซีซ่าตอบสนองการเรียนทั้งแบบที่โรงเรียนและแบบออนไลน์การสอบแบบชั้นเรียนและการสอบแบบออนไลน์รองรับนโยบาย ECP Education Continuity Plan แผนการจัดการการศึกษาอย่างต่อเนื่องทุกสถานการณ์และรับประกันการจบการศึกษาประจำปีสอบถามโทร 02-748-1328 และ 091-871-8752 โรงเรียนสอนศาสนาศาสนูปถัมภ์กรุงเทพมหานครคุณธรรมนำความรู้ชูสังคม